Hey everyone, it's Little Lollycat here. This time reviewing Kiddos, which are green now, and I'm pretty sure they used to be blue. So these are the ABU Kiddos, not the Diaper Mister Kiddos, which I unfortunately never got the chance to try. But I was told that they were one of the best one-tab diapers out there if you were particularly curvy in any way, because they tend to sit at the right point. And I'm sorry, my phone keeps going off, and I don't know why. Oh, are you sleepy? Molly's all grumbly. Oh, Job. Quite. Oh, Job. Yes, quite. She's unimpressed. Look at that face. Yeah, that was quite a change. Okay. Yeah. So, in kiddo diapers, actually these ones have been placed kind of weird because the owls are on the waistband by accident, I'm assuming. It's usually a little bit lower down. Yeah, usually the tabs down here. That's not a good a start for it. Yeah. So I have tried these before, and I had I tried a large pair from one of my friends, and I swear they came up to here on me, and if you can't tell how tall I am, like they were like the Simon Cowell of diapers. It was painful to look at. It was funny but painful. So they have waistband on back and front. They are one tabs, very one large tab, and I will say the placement of these isn't the worst, because as you can tell they're actually quite high, and what this means is if you are curvier you can usually get them on the waist as opposed to on the hips, which is good. They are very soft inside, they are fairly puffy, they have high standing leg guards obviously because that's a requirement. They do have these sort of like flowers printed all over it sort of randomly and spotty, and they have the owls obviously on the front, which are quite cute. And they're very simple, very cute, like you can't really argue with them. They aren't the most expensive, they are £16 for 10, which is reasonably cheap, especially for one that's got a bit more absorption to it. And look at that puffy. The plastic is reasonably soft and crinkly. It's not the worst. So I wore these ones out, rushed downtown in them because I was running late and I had to like beast down. And these, unfortunately, are one of the few dips I have actually chafed in, which was mildly uncomfortable. And I don't know if that was to do with me basically bolting out the door and basically running down in a dip, and if that was a bad idea, or if it was more down to the fact that it was just the material is it's soft, but it's not the softest. I don't know if it was just a little bit more scratchy in the areas, and the fact that I felt like it could be to do with the fact that it was one tab and therefore it wasn't as tightly put together here, which meant that it was hanging a little bit, so it was getting that kind of rub, which wasn't so great. Absorbency wise, I would say that they did reasonably well. I used them about 5-6 times, I would say. I think it was about 6. But by the 6th time they were pretty much destroyed. They needed changed. So they held up reasonably well. I don't think that's anywhere near the expectations of how much they're supposed to hold, because I think how much they're supposed to hold is 4.5 litres. So I didn't reach that, but I will say I think part of that's down to the fact that because they start to hang, they're a one tab, and you don't want that gaping if you're going to pee, and it's not going to absorb quickly, so it wasn't dispersing throughout the same as you would with a 2 tab. And I think that is one of the biggest downfalls of a lot of 1 tabs, is once they start to sag you're having more problems because they don't have that bottom tab to hold them in place to make sure that the leg guards are in place and that you're safe. So I don't feel as comfortable pushing them as I would with other ones. But overall I would say that they held up reasonably well. They weren't actually the worst. They also held up over a night. Yeah, because I've tried them more than once, and like the last time they held up as well. I wore them overnight and in the morning, and I changed them after a while, but they weren't too bad. But those were obviously the large ones, so they were very strange. So I would recommend them. They aren't the most expensive, they are reasonably cheap. I would say I did prefer the blues to the greeny colours they've got on them now. And I know there's a lot of confusion about if they are owned by Diaper Mister or ABU now, which I'm not even going to get into because that's all madness. Or if it's ABU has certain rights, but these are the version 2 ABU ones. So I will say they are worth a try. Especially given the fact that they aren't the most expensive ones. And they are readily available pretty much everywhere. Yay! So that's it for now. I hope that was helpful. It probably wasn't as in-depth, but there's not too much to go over. I mean, they're kind of like, they're pretty close to an ABU standard, just with one tab, so you can't really go too wrong with them, I guess. So, yeah. Hope that's helpful. Speak to you all later. Bye, everyone.